Hello, this is Pepin from We Need to Talk, and you might notice that this episode is a rebroadcast. Now you might be asking, did we stop recording? Did we give up? What's wrong with us? Well, actually there's a reason. We were at a podcast convention. Even more so, we hosted it at PodcastNH. And we were just busy like crazy. We actually had plans to redo some recording for episodes, but it was just so packed and crazy that we didn't have time. So we're just doing a rebroadcast of our Thanksgiving episode. Now, this episode is absolutely amazing. Definitely check it out if you haven't heard it. And if you have heard it, listen to it again. It'll be amazing. It'll be great. You'll love it. And definitely let us know on Twitter at twitter.com/WNTT1 what you're thankful for. Be it your family, your love life, or this podcast. Yes, let us know if you're thankful for this podcast. And till next time, or till this time, just listen to the episode.
Hey, Pepin.
Yo.
So I've been thinking a lot lately about turkeys.
What turkeys? Like, what about turkeys?
Like they have those gobblers under their chin, and that kind of reminds me of Turkey Day's coming up.
Turkey Day, like that famous tradition?
Yeah, it's I know that in my family there's very specific traditions that we do, but I think it would be kind of cool if we talked about traditions outside of even our own country, not even just our families.
There's like more beyond this country?
Like, what if there was another country that also had Turkey Day?
Are you being serious right now?
That would be amazing. I think, what? I know somebody we can get.
Okay, I think we need to talk.
Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us. I'm here once again with the fabulous Nathan Pepin. How you doing, Pepin?
Yo, I'm doing pretty good.
Definitely glad to hear that. And we do have with us one of our good northern friends. Goes by the name of Langille. How's it going, Langille?
I am good, man. Thank you for having me on the show. I can't wait to be a part of this.
Yeah, we're definitely very glad to have you on. Now, you have, for just a little background here, I know you from back in our YouTube days, but more recently, you actually have your own podcast.
Yeah, myself and the rock star Chris Cole, we have a podcast called What's the Finish, which is a pop culture based show. So we'll talk about the big pop culture stories of the week, but we also try to keep it maritime because I'm from Atlantic Canada. And we try to interview guests every week to promote themselves on a local scale. So we interview musicians, bands, wrestlers, event promoters, et cetera, and we try to give them a bit of a rub and get their word out. So that's kind of what we do on What's the Finish. And then I'm also on 3-Player Co-op, which is a video gaming podcast that I started with my wife and a couple friends of ours. And we talk about gaming and all that sort of hilarity stuff that ensues around video games. And that's 3-Player Co-op.
And from what I can tell, they've both actually gotten extremely popular. I know What's the Finish particularly, I listened to quite a few times, especially more recently. I've listened to a lot of the recent episodes, and like that show is so killer. I feel like it's similar to ours, but it's got such a, for lack of a better term, more Canadian feel.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. No, What's the Finish is, I'm really proud of it. I work with the rock star Chris Cole, who interrupts me every time I try to say something, so I appreciate you guys actually let me form sentences together. I appreciate that. But no, we have a lot of fun with that, and it's starting to get noticed. We were actually nominated for a Music New Brunswick Award, which New Brunswick is a province here in Canada, and we because we promote a lot of bands and musicians, they actually nominated us for Music Business of the Year. And I kind of thought that was weird. I was like, but we're not a music business. And they were like, yeah, well, our media category, the same guy won 5 years in a row, so we kind of get rid of that. But we really like you guys, so we're going to put you in a music business. So that was nice. We went to the awards, and unfortunately, it's an honor just to be nominated. So we're happy with that. But we didn't come with the hardware this year, but maybe in a future year we may come back with something.
That's absolutely huge, and you know what? It is very well deserved. So pat on the back for that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So now let me get this straight. Thanksgiving for Canadians already happened.
Yes, it was back in October.
Oh, that's really weird.
So like right before Halloween?
No, about the second week of October, roughly. I think it's the second Monday in October is how it works out.
Now, is this a Columbus-based holiday?
No, this is a not Columbus-based holiday. Ours is more. We took the tradition from you guys, or we borrowed it, I guess you could say, but we have it a little earlier. I'm thinking, honestly, it's because of the time in the growing seasons. Like our stuff is ready a little earlier, so it has a lot to do with it.
That makes sense.
We're mid-October.
Does your winter start earlier than us as well?
We only have 3 weeks of summer, so yeah, if you don't catch us between August the 1st and August the 20th, you've missed summer basically.
Fair enough.
But no, our winter we're scheduled for snow tonight. So, and what's today? Today's November the 12th. Yeah, so we're scheduled for snow tonight. But
wow, I'm definitely not envious of you there. Now you stole this tradition from us, as you know, every great thing that's ever happened has been stolen and appropriated by somebody else. So I definitely understand that idea of Canada wanting to borrow the greatness that is America,
right?
Just a little bit. So.
Wow, I assure you, we will not be borrowing Donald Trump anytime soon.
It's okay. We can loan him to you anytime you want. But...
and you can keep our Justin Bieber. It's okay.
All right. Well, we can do some trades here. It sounds
nice.
Sounds good to me. Now, tell me a little bit about Thanksgiving up there. Is it anything like our Thanksgiving? Do you know anything about our Thanksgiving?
I do know about your guys' Thanksgiving. I know that football is huge on Thanksgiving. I know that there's turkeys and there's everyone gets together and enjoys their Thanksgiving together and all that good stuff. Food wise, things may be a little bit. I mean, the turkey is universal, but yeah, our Thanksgiving isn't as. I mean, Canadians are going to kill me for this, but Canadian Thanksgiving, it doesn't seem to be as important or as big of a thing as it is in the States. Like in the States, it's huge. You guys have your. Now, hold on. If I'm correct, you guys have the Macy's Day Parade during Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Thanksgiving Day. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that doesn't happen here. That doesn't happen at all.
Well, when does Macy's come and have a parade?
Oh, they don't.
Not at all? What?
Not at all. Yeah, apparently they make it stop at the border or something, but that has never happened in the history of Canada.
Oh, I thought we just let the balloons go and they kind of floated up to Canada.
Well, that is true. I mean, every year in Newfoundland, they go and collect all the balloons and bring them back to you guys. But officially, we don't have the parade.
Well, that's very nice of those little Newfoundland fishermen. I appreciate that.
Isn't it? It keeps them employed. It gives them a job. It's great.
So you're putting your own country's Thanksgiving on blast, it sounds like here, and saying it's just not as good.
Well, look, I don't want to go quite that far. Again, there's going to be Canadian people to listen to this, so I love you, Canada. But it's the thing where we don't go all out the way you guys do. I mean, for us, it's like, great, we get a Monday off. Woohoo, let's have some turkey. Which, incidentally, 95% of Canadians, and I checked this with Statistics Canada, don't have their Thanksgiving dinner on Monday when we actually have the day off. We usually have it on Sunday just to get it out of the way.
Now, is it like the second Monday of October, and that's when it always is?
Yes.
Okay, because for us, it's the third Thursday of November.
Right.
And we get Thursday, typically, if you're salaried or whatever, places will give Thursday and Friday off. So you'll have that super long weekend. You have your meal Thursday, and then you sleep all day Friday.
See, that's why we do the whole Sunday into Monday thing, because we only get one day off. So
well, we also have Black Friday the day after with the super sales and the people going crazy and trampling old ladies.
Yeah, see, there's something else. See, we didn't have Black Canada. Oops. We didn't have Black Friday in Canada until a few years ago.
Oh, you guys have sold out.
Yeah, well, see what happened was we always had Boxing Day, which is December 26th, where you go and all the stores have their stuff on sale for then. And as a kid, it was like, great, I get to go spend my gift cards on something. But as I grew up, I realized, okay, now that's for all the shit that you wanted for. Am I allowed to swear on the show?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just making sure. It's all the shit that you didn't get for Christmas that you still wanted to get. You go out and get it after Christmas. But then what happened was with the revolution of online shopping and people, in Canada got on the internet and realized, wait a minute, in the States, they have Black Friday. We want that. So now all the Canadian retailers now have Black Friday sales.
And now is that after your Thanksgiving or is that
No, it's the same day. It's the same day as yours.
Okay, so you steal our Thanksgiving, move the date,
Yeah.
and then you steal our Black Friday and don't move the date.
Exactly. Because it'd be really awkward in Canada because Thanksgiving is on a Monday and we have to wait till that Friday, and then people are back to work and stuff, and it wouldn't work out. So
Fair.
I'm okay with stealing. Just be consistent when you steal.
Exactly. And personally, I blame Amazon. If Amazon, if their website, was blocked from Canada or something, no one would ever have known about Black Friday. Actually, I shouldn't say that because we get the news up here. It's funny as that is.
Wait, the same news?
Yeah, we get news. Yeah.
That's pretty strange.
Yeah. Canada's a weird place. And we get to see the people getting trampled trying to get into Walmart when they try to fit 7,000 people into like the door that holds 3, and we get to see that every year. So luckily, Canadians don't really do that. We just kind of sit in our chair with our laptop and go from there and order stuff online. But the stores officially do have Black Friday sales here in Canada now.
Now, you mentioned these doors that hold 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think those are actually spec to hold 5 people, but that's 3 US.
Yes, that makes sense. That does make sense because I watch a lot of, well, I don't watch a lot of U.S. television, but when I do, I see commercials for 7-Eleven that offer their 64-ounce like sodas, and I'm like, 64-ounce sodas. That would do me at least. Well, actually about an hour, but still, the point is they're way bigger than they are here in Canada.
You mean what we call a small?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so I want to talk, Nate. Tell me a little about your family's traditions when it comes specifically to Thanksgiving.
Well, it's pretty boring, to be honest. We have some people over, and we eat turkey, and cranberry sauce, and stuffing, and we don't really say what we're thankful for. That's never been a tradition. We just kind of chat and talk, and that's pretty much it. And play board games. That's a big part. Board games.
So it's a family event. Everybody gets together. You have these traditional American Thanksgiving foods, and just enjoy each other's company.
Mm-mm. And it's weird because like turkey's not one of those things I have ever, except for Thanksgiving. That's the only time I have turkey.
Now, how does that compare to your Thanksgiving, Langille, as far as both food, content, and activities?
Let's see here. Okay.
I imagine it's turkey, donaires, and poutine.
Oh my God, you've done your homework, sir. That is a fantastic combination.
I've listened to a lot of Brian Langille content.
I've tried to push poutine and donaires for Thanksgiving, and my parents aren't into that. My in-laws aren't into that. My wife's not into that. So basically, I'm coming to Thanksgiving at your place next year.
It works for me.
And then we're going to do that. No, we have the turkey, sorry, and we don't call it stuffing. We call it dressing, but it's essentially the same thing.
Dressing, that's like Italian ranch, Caesar salad.
Yeah, anywhere but Canada. In Canada, it's potatoes and bread and summer savory and the such. It's pretty much the same as the stuffing, I do believe, from everything that the internet has told me.
So we do call it dressing a turkey or trimming a turkey, I believe.
Trimming, okay.
But like trimming a tree, but
yes,
it just means like kind of dressing it up.
Oh,
but we don't.
Okay.
But stuffing is usually like in the turkey, and it's just like bread.
Yeah, you kind of shove it up its ass.
Yeah.
You just shove bread up its ass, and that's the American way.
Yeah, I thought that was Greek. Anyway, no, so anyway, no, in Canada we have it with mashed potatoes and summer savory and dressing and stuff like that. And then it's like you scoop it out and it's part of the dinner. We don't actually put it in the turkey.
What the fuck is summer savory?
Summer savory, it's a funny story. Summer savory looks a lot like weed, but it's not weed. And the reason I say that is because my father grows summer savory. It's like a seasoning you put on things. And he hung it up in his garage to dry. And people looked in the window and thought that it was weed trying to dry and broke into his garage and stole all their summer savory. I would have loved to have seen those kids light that up. That would have been like total disappointment, right? But yeah.
The Thanksgiving bong.
Exactly. Puff, puff, what? Yeah, so what else do we do? We get together. We do have Canadian football, the CFL.
Is that like soccer or?
Oh, no, like actual football, except it's different than your guys' because there's only 3 downs and the field is different and blah, blah, blah. But our games every year are the same. It's Calgary versus Edmonton and Toronto versus Hamilton, I believe.
So the whole CFL plays?
Pretty much, yeah. There's those couple expansion teams that no one really pays attention to, but the rest of it, yeah. But you guys, now, correct me if I'm wrong, do the games change every year for you guys? I know Detroit plays Chicago a lot, but overall, is it the same 3 games on Thanksgiving Day?
No.
No.
The schedules are always rolling and changing, so who's facing who is always going to be different every year, and it's just based off of however they decide to run each team's schedule and how it all breaks down. And I think there's some stuff that's based off of win-lose percentage and divisions. You have to play a certain number of people within your division and out of it.
Right.
I'm sure there's math involved, but I don't know. It's all, we're not paid. We don't watch it to know how they actually do it. We just watch it to watch a bunch of large men pummel each other.
Exactly. Well, in Canada, it's the same games every year, as far as I know. Calgary and Edmonton, which is a big rivalry because they're like an hour and a half apart from each other. And then Toronto, Hamilton, which are both in the province of Ontario. So we have football, but nobody watches. So it's not really a big tradition.
Do you guys still wear the leather helmets?
Oh, no. We've upgraded. We stole that from the States, too. And we now have,
Nice.
Yeah.
But you only got away with 3 of our 4 downs.
Exactly. So, we'll come back for the other one later, apparently. But yeah, no, there are football games on. But as far as my family goes, we usually go to my in-laws' place for Thanksgiving, and we have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, and then the kids go back and play on their Xbox until it's time to leave, and the adults have a few beverages and wait for the Xbox session to be over, and then we go home.
Fair enough. That sounds like that sounds fairly typical for what we do as well, as far as typical Americans. Let the kids kind of do their own thing. Hopefully they stay out of your hair long enough to drink and get just drunk enough to be able to drive home.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much the PEI way too. So yeah, we're good.
Is there any point where you say, "Hey, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that," or is that not really in the Canadian tradition?
Well, we're thankful for welfare. We're thankful for American television. We're thankful that it's not snowing yet, and that's pretty much it. But no, honestly, no, we don't do the whole "I'm thankful for this, thankful for that" thing, because the only people that I've ever seen actually do that are sitcom characters like the ones on Friends, or drama characters like the ones on the Waltons. That was it. I've never really seen the whole. Oh, and the Cosby Show. Well,
wait, is the Waltons a drama in Canada?
Yeah, why is it not? Is it not in the States?
The Waltons. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I went in the Wayback Machine to bring you the Waltons.
Are you guys thinking that the Waltons is like primetime American television still?
No. We can tell by the clothing and the hair and the 4x3 as opposed to 16x9 that they probably don't make that show anymore. But I haven't seen the finale yet, so don't spoil it for me.
John Boy dies.
What?
And then at the very end, they're lowering his coffin into the grave, and they just go, Good night, John boy.
You know, that seems fitting. That seems fitting.
I feel like for anybody who hasn't seen that show, that joke just went over their head. But for anybody who has, they love that joke.
Exactly. He probably shouldn't have stole the gumballs from the general store.
Dude, that guy's savage.
Is he ever?
Let's branch a little bit back into traditions. I know at my house it's always been kind of a little different. We don't really have any traditions yet, but we're now in a situation where we can start creating traditions. So what I want to know from you guys that I think would be kind of fun is, what kind of traditions should we start? We have a blank slate here.
Oh, okay. This sounds fun. I'm gonna let Pepin go first because I don't want to influence you with my Canadianism. So you guys do all the American stuff first, and then I'll drop in some Canadian stuff for you.
Now, one that we already do have a little bit, other than, eating until you want to vomit and then taking a break and then eating a little more.
Yes.
Is we all sit around and we watch my mother play Resident Evil, the first one, and do a speed run of it.
Okay. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah,
While my brothers yell at her and say, "That's not the right way," and she's like, "I know how to do this. I made you."
Yeah. We used to get my mom to play Duck Hunt, and she was terrible at Duck Hunt.
Oh, God.
So what we did was we figured out that trick where you turn the brightness up on the TV and it screws the gun up and the sensor, and you could shoot at the wall and the duck would still fall.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom one year thought she was terrible at Duck Hunt, and the next year thought that she was the greatest thing ever when it came to Duck Hunt. So if you have a classic NES, trick for the trade there, turn the brightness up really high, and you can shoot behind you and the duck will still fall.
That's an amazing tip. Much appreciated. I do have an NES, but the TV that I have now does not support the light gun because new TVs won't.
Yeah. Did you guys see the new? Did you see the new NES that came out on Friday?
I have not seen it. It's the mini, right?
Yeah, the little mini one. Yeah, and it comes with like 30 games, and it's like $60 US and like $80 Canadian. But I don't think Duck Hunt's on the list. But yeah, I'm looking forward to picking one of those up just so I can live like I did when I was like 8. That'll be cool.
I feel like you're missing something though if you don't have to, use rubbing alcohol and blowing the cartridges and slam on the thing until it works and dealing with coaxial cables.
You're right. That does take a lot out of it now. I kind of want to have, like, you can buy them in pawn shops and stuff, but like you said, we have no way to hook them up to current televisions. So I'd have to dig out the TV in my parents' basement and hope it still works just to be able to play Duck Hunt, just to get frustrated because I have to use rubbing alcohol and blow on cartridges. So maybe I'll stick with the classic one or the new classic one and roll with that. But yeah, wouldn't be bad for nostalgia purposes to show my 11-year-old. You think it's hard now when you can't get online to play Call of Duty. Imagine trying to blow into a cartridge for 20 minutes and not get a blue screen from it. So yeah.
Those are the great times.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get the broken, pixelated title screen, and you're like, "Oh, we're almost there. I can feel it now."
Yeah.
One more time.
Exactly. And then the whole thing. Well, it's funny because, and I'm going off on a tangent on this, but I recently bought the Mega Man Legacy Edition for PlayStation, and I went online and got the codes. And I was telling my son, yeah, I used, A3, B4, E7, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, these are the codes to get you through Mega Man. He goes, why didn't you just use saves? I'm like, because they didn't have saves. And I might as well have just told him that, there was no electricity because he had no concept of a game that didn't have a save mode.
That was amazing. Like back then, not having saves meant that you needed to sit your ass down and play the whole thing,
Yep.
or you had to leave the system on.
Yes.
And heaven forbid if somebody comes in and bumps
Yep.
it, and then you lost everything.
Oh yeah. And no concept of that at all because everything is saved to the cloud and you can pull it down on any console. I'm like, not when I was your age, kid. When I was your age, it's you basically put a note on top of the NES that said "Do not touch" and left it there all weekend. So
I actually thought of a tradition.
Sure.
Bring us back on subject.
yes, please do.
So like people watch the Macy's Day Parade. I mean, maybe not in Canada, but at least in the U.S.
Yes.
Steve, I think you should fuck Macy's Day and just have your own parade.
Have our own parade, in the apartment or out on the street.
Well, I'm thinking like inside the apartment, but if you want to bring it on the street, go ahead. Make your own floats, make your own little designs, costumes, have someone videotape it. It'd be great.
just right through the living room and then wrap around into the kitchen.
Now coming through the hallway.
You can have one person doing the commentary.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would take two people to really get the commentary down like solid.
Oh my god, that live stream it.
You need a color man.
I could. I'll tell you. I'll offer the services of myself and the Rockstar Chris Cole. We actually do the commentary for Innovative Hybrid Wrestling in Moncton, New Brunswick. So we are a commentary team. We could do that for you.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You guys are an amazing team, and being able to pull in, I think it makes it even funnier that like not only are you guys professionals in the first place, but that you're not Americans. So like the whole concept of like what's going on, like especially if we use American icons and things like that might be over your head. For you to see them coming in and try and call out what they are and talk about them could be amazing.
Well, I'll tell you, book it, and might be a little short notice for this year, but book it for next year, and we'll do it. We will do it.
We will, and we'll be working on the floats all year until then.
I cannot wait for that.
We'll live stream that.
Steve, you should be the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I will be.
I can't wait to tell Rockstar we're booked for an event in the state for Thanksgiving. And we get there, and he'll be expecting some wrestling event. He's like, no, we're going to hang out on the couch here and just talk about the guys walking in circles around the kitchen table. It'll be awesome.
Oh, my God. Meader Day Parade.
Nice.
Now, why does Macy's claim that whole day as theirs?
Money?
Oh, yeah.
I would say money.
Wow.
They bought the rights.
What an American answer.
There you go.
I do believe there are other parades on that day, but Macy's Day is the big one.
Interesting. So we've kind of broken down our own personal traditions, which honestly, it doesn't sound like we have too far, like rigid, traditions of this is what we always do. And if we don't do this one thing, then it's not Thanksgiving. Which is kind of interesting that despite the fact that we all have different families, but from different places that we kind of all come together at the same time in that fact.
Well, I don't know. See, as it's pointed out about 20 minutes ago, us Canadians kind of stole/borrowed the whole idea. And we haven't really been original enough to go and add our own spice to it. So we basically do what you do just earlier. So unless you guys come up with something new.
You guys half-ass our holidays.
Pretty much. Canada's going to hate me after this. But yeah, pretty much.
We'll do some football-like thing. We'll half the downs and whatever. And then we'll have a bird of some sort and shove in some fries with gravy.
Man, fries with gravy are phenomenal.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
And then add cheese on top of it. Done and done.
Poutine is a great dish. Now, is a donair the same thing as a calzone?
No, a donair, to the best of my knowledge, people trying to explain to them and them saying, "Oh, you mean that?" They always refer to it as a gyro.
So sub.
Well, it's spiced meat that is on a spit and then shaved off really thin, and then put into a pita bread sort of roll or wrap, sorry, and then it has cheese and onion and tomato on top of that, and then a sweet sauce, which is I don't know what they put in it, but it's damn good. It's condensed milk and sugar, I believe, and on top of that, and it's phenomenal.
So you stole that from the Greeks?
Yeah, apparently. Canadian, I don't know if you guys know this, but in the original Micmac language, Canada is translated to steal from everyone. And that's what it is. No, we're like a melting pot of tradition up here. So we just kind of take a little from here and a little from there, and before you know it, boom, you've got Canada.
I think you're the spillover of the American melting pot.
Yeah.
You're like the American melting pot overboiled and burned onto the stove and scraped it off, and that was Canada.
And this is where we are. Yeah. Well, it's been great talking to you guys. I'm going to talk to you next year.
I was just going to say, I feel really bad because I'm heaping all of this crap onto you and you're not throwing it back at me.
No, it's Canadian, right? That's what we do. We apologize for that. Like, obviously, we must have done something to make him mad, so sorry.
No, we love you, Langille. We
Thank you, sir.
Wait, just to be clear, is Canadian niceness a tradition in itself?
It's a genetic thing.
Is it genetic?
It's a genetic thing because everybody up here is nice. I don't know. I mean, do you guys watch South Park?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you see Terrence and Phillip?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not far off. Do you watch the Trailer Park Boys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not that far off.
So is sarcasm a big part of being Canadian as well?
Yes. Yeah. Apparently, if you speak sarcasm, you get along much better than if you don't. But, the good thing about that is being Canadian, if your feelings get hurt, you can still go to the hospital and it's still free.
Free is definitely a tricky word there, but we won't go into the intricacies of universal health care.
Well, no, but if I get up off the couch here tonight, trip over my laptop and break my arm when I fall, I can go to the hospital and they'll x-ray it, put a cast on it, and I go home.
You can go to the hospital and in 8 to 10 weeks you'll get a cast.
Well, 8 to 10 hours, yes, but yeah, but the point is that my bank account, although as small as it still is, it still doesn't get any smaller going to the hospital and leaving.
A big question I have is, are Canadians thankful for Thanksgiving?
Any day off work is a good day, so yes, we are. We're very thankful for it.
But you don't even take that day off to do Thanksgiving. You do other things, and you do it Sunday.
Yes, but that's the same idea as you guys having Thursday and then having the whole weekend off, right?
No.
It's not?
No, we have our holiday on the holiday.
Yeah, we always do it on Thursday.
It's not we don't open Christmas presents the week before. We open them on Christmas.
I did. That was the best part.
The tradition I want to start in my family is opening Christmas presents the week after Christmas. That way you can just buy your gifts after Christmas and you save a bunch of money.
See, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. That's kind of like what our whole Boxing Day thing is. Although, ironically, most stores aren't open on Boxing Day because it's seen as a holiday. So Boxing Day is December 26th.
Wait.
Day.
Hold on.
What?
So Boxing Day is the day that you guys do your biggest sales and stores are closed.
Yes. So it's the 27th.
So
unless the
Canada...
hold on, it gets more confusing. Unless the 27th is a Sunday. Yeah, because not everywhere has Sunday shopping. So when the flyer comes out to explain the Boxing Day sales, it's great because it says Boxing Day sales December 26th, unless it's December 27th, unless it's Sunday. If it's Sunday, it's not eligible in Quebec and other locations. So the small print takes up almost the front page of the flyer.
Wait. Is this just like a random day that like one day you wake up and turn on the news and like, oh, by the way, it's Boxing Day?
No. It's traditionally.
They don't know ahead of time, like before they make these flyers?
We do. But
there are flyers every year.
Certain provinces are open. They have the stores open on December 26th. Mm-hmm. Certain provinces don't. Mm-hmm. So if you live like I live in Prince Edward Island, all stores are closed except for gas stations and drugstores on December 26th.
Is this a legal thing or is this like?
Yeah, it's a whole legal thing. Yeah. So if you get the flyer and it says Boxing Day says you can get like a 4K 55-inch TV for the low price of $499, except not on December 26th because all stores are closed. So you have to go on the 27th, and that's fine. Doors open at 6 a.m. unless it's a Sunday, in which case doors will not open till 1 because Sunday shopping doesn't start until after lunch. And other provinces don't have Sunday shopping at all. So it'll be the 28th before you could get said item. So the trick around that is just to order online because online's always open.
Huh.
And this isn't a joke or a bit. I'm serious. That's how it works here in Canada. So could you guys imagine Black Friday?
Us Americans, we kind of want to lend you some of our ideas here when it comes to the logistics around when to do sales.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll just save you a little bit of paper at very least, because we're all about saving the trees.
Oh, exactly. I'd be down for that. That would be great. In fact, what I'll do is I'll keep in mind of this, and when the Boxing Day sale flyers come out, I'll take a photo and send it to you guys so you can see all the small print saying, unless you live here, here, or here, in which case is this day, blah, blah, blah. I'll send it to you.
Please do.
I definitely will. Definitely will. Actually, I still can't wait to tell Rockstar we're booked for something in the States to get there. And we just, yeah, it's going to be awesome.
I definitely concur with that.
So where are you guys? You guys in Maine?
No longer, no.
No longer,
I
no.
grew up in Maine, but I now live in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yes, something we stole from the British.
Yes, because Old Hampshire wasn't nearly as exciting.
No.
So, right. All right, so because Rockstar used to wrestle in Maine, so he's well familiar with how to get there. We'll just have to use the old Waze or GPS to get a little further south from there. But, yeah, we'll make it happen.
I'm definitely really excited about that.
I'm more excited for the reaction when he gets there. That's my thing.
I'll have somebody dress up as Rockstar Chris Cole for the parade.
There you go.
It'll make him feel at home.
So, that's the tradition here in Canada. We basically don't celebrate it on the same day. We don't eat the same things. We still have football, but nobody watches. And then, that's pretty much Thanksgiving in Canada.
Are there any other traditions that are similar to the U.S. traditions that you know of?
Maybe outside of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if you guys have an Independence Day. Probably not.
No,
but something that kind of guys.
But we have Canada Day.
I've heard of that. I'm still very confused by what that is.
I thought it was a myth.
No, Canada Day is July 1st.
Convenient.
So again, you guys have your Thanksgiving in November. We have ours in October. Our national celebratory day is 3 days before your guys's. But, there's fireworks and there's concerts and everybody's happy. Now, we don't go overboard with the fireworks. But there are fireworks, and we do get the day off, and it's the same day every year. So we're happy on that, unless it falls on a Sunday, in which case it happens on the next Monday. And that's Canada Day.
Wait, was that a bit?
Yeah, that was a bit.
Okay. Usually I can tell. That one I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, I should live under the guise of if you don't know, I'm right. So I could have gone with that and go, yep, no, it's exactly it. It's on July 2nd if it happens on a Sunday.
We brought you in as the expert Canadian.
Oh, then I should stay serious and give nothing but correct answers.
Nothing but the facts. The Canadian facts.
Exactly.
Which they're just like the American facts, except they come a little earlier.
Exactly. In fact, for us, Law and Order Criminal Intent is only 15 minutes long because we just get everything out up front and it's over.
Because the guy who did it actually comes forward and confesses.
Exactly.
Before the episode's over.
Well, see, when that show first started, it's like, okay, we're going to look at the crime from the criminal's point of view. And I'm like, this is going to be amazing. So you watch it, and they don't. They just show you the crime to begin with and then follow up to how he did it. And I'm like, that's not nearly as exciting as watching the whole show from the criminal's point of view. Could you imagine watching the Dukes of Hazzard all from Boss Hogg and Roscoe's point of view? That would have been fantastic. By the way, I haven't seen the end of that yet. That still hasn't aired in Canada, so don't spoil that for me either.
I think you dated yourself there.
Dude, I'm 41. I can't help but date myself on that. But
they die in a car crash.
I knew that jumping was going to get to them eventually. You can't just keep taking a 78 Charger over rivers and expecting it to live, right? So, yeah.
They die in a car crash with the Hardy Boys.
With the Hardy Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking Nancy Drew Hardy Boys or Matt and Jeff the Hardy Boys?
Matt and Jeff.
Matt and Jeff, of course.
Oh, boy. That would be an amazing crossover.
Wouldn't it? Brother Bo, I knew you'd come. Be awesome. By the way, if you don't currently watch TNA Wrestling, that joke totally made no sense. But
yeah, it missed me.
Yeah, I was.
I'm sorry,
lost.
but Dixie Carter doesn't hold my attention.
No, at all, or finances apparently. But broken Matt Hardy now is he's broken, and his big thing now is brother Nero. I knew you'd come whenever Jeff Hardy shows up on screen. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. we're kind of connecting traditions to wrestling. What I find interesting is like there's a lot of wrestlers out there who have the same kind of opening and the same kind of like they walk down and do the same thing every time. Like
Yes.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, I'm just thinking big ones, and they do the same thing every time, and that's like their own kind of little tradition they have with going to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Which like why does that work so well?
Branding.
Branding.
Yeah, totally. And it makes it recognizable that, the minute that music hits, that specific music hits, or that person shows up, we're looking the exact same or very similar to how you've seen him on TV in other areas. It's all about branding and instant recognition, because if you're doing a wrestling show and you want the crowd to go absolutely nuts, you have to make sure that they recognize exactly when something happens. And that's the tradition behind it.
Is this something that you guys gotta think about, like, consciously? Like, you're trying to get this thing down solid?
Not so much for us, because we're like Chris and I work for an independent wrestling company in Moncton. But for the most part, we're based out of Moncton. We travel around outside of Moncton to other cities, but Moncton is our home base, and most people know everything that's going on within the show when it's in Moncton. So yeah, we kind of have, when someone's music hits, everyone knows exactly who that is. Or when they come out, they know immediately, they can recognize, because the merch is the same, everything is the same. So yeah, it's weird going to a town that we've never been to before, because we almost have to try to, without coming out and telling them, hey, cheer for this guy, he's the good guy, and boo that guy, he's the bad guy. We don't go that far. But it's kind of interesting to see how different towns react to different people when they're not consistently following the story.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting that way.
I know traditionally in at very least WWE wrestling,
Yes.
Canada is always the opposite, or at very least, I'm pretty sure it's Montreal, is always the opposite when it comes to when heels come out, they cheer, and when baby faces come out, they're always booing.
Yeah.
Now, what is that? Just a Montreal thing, and Montreal is backwards, or is
No.
that they're trying to give love to the heels, or?
Well, it's weird. It started when Bret Hart was a heel in the States, but a face in Canada. And what happened is Bret would be in, like, Pittsburgh on one Monday night and get booed out of the building, and then come to Halifax, Nova Scotia the next weekend or next Monday, and be cheered out of the place. And it's kind of went from there. But yeah, Toronto and Montreal are both known as Bizarro Land, where they boo the baby faces and cheer the heels, to the point where the announcers don't even bother anymore. They're like, well, we must be in Canada, because everything is reversed. But yeah, no, I was to a few house shows here on the East Coast of Canada. No, we cheered the faces and booed the heels like we're supposed to and stuff. But when you're on television in Montreal or Toronto, it's a totally different atmosphere. And Survivor Series is next Sunday in Toronto, and they're currently the WWE Universal Champion, who is a heel, is Kevin Owens, and he's from Quebec, Canada. So he's going to get cheered out of the building. So I think they're prepared for it this time, that they'll have to work something.
So obviously he's going to have to continue to win.
Yeah, I would hope so, because last time we had a Canadian champion lose in Canada, there was chaos everywhere.
They tend to do that, though. They tend to give the belt in Canada and then take it back away in Canada.
Yes, exactly. If I was a professional wrestling champion working in the Fed, I would not want to win the title as a Canadian, because I know exactly. I look at the calendar and go, oh, we're going back to Canada? Game over. I know what's coming up, right?
Yeah.
I can imagine Canadians are like the most polite rioters out there.
Oh, we hold up signs to say, sorry that we're not happy with you. And
are we being too loud? Oh, okay, we'll keep it down.
Yeah. Oh, wait, the curfew's at 8:00. We have to go home. Goodbye. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
At 7:59, the riot is screaming, and at 8:00, it's silence.
Oh yeah, totally.
And they're picking up all the trash off the floor. And...
Definitely. And we hand out cups of Tim Hortons coffee to everybody to make sure they're still warm. And
now that's something that we stole from you guys, and we have down here now.
Tim Hortons?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tim's is great. Tim's is a Canadian staple.
I believe the phone company, Packard Bell, was originally from Canada as well, and they kind of revolutionized the phone industry. And then there was also one from, I think it was it Boeing or something like that. There's an airplane
Yes.
company
Yeah.
that was also
Boeing.
Canadian, and the U.S., especially with Bell, they when we tried to open up a conglomerate within the U.S., we stole all of the smartest people from Canada and offered to pay them more, move them down here, and just basically built our company by stealing from those companies. So it's not just Canada who's thieving. We just do it in a much less respectful way.
Wait a second. You guys offered money and Canadians went down there?
Yeah.
That explains why I haven't heard from Uncle Frank in a very long time.
Well, not all the Canadians.
Yeah, that's right. He's probably homeless under a bridge. Anyway, yeah, no, we that's one thing about Canadians is the fact that the U.S. dollar really makes a huge difference. Like, we don't really do a lot of traveling right now because the Canadian dollars were 73 cents on the dollar. Whereas if you guys came up here, you could live like millionaires because you're getting a dollar, what, $1.26, $1.27 on the dollar. So everything's basically free at that point.
So do you guys have a 75-cent store?
We should. We should. Instead, unfortunately, we have to have a $2 store in order to try to make up the difference.
$2 store, I like it.
Yep.
Oh boy. Is there anything else that you think we should touch on as far as traditions go, Langille?
Hockey.
Oh,
Hockey's a big Canadian thing.
that is a big Canadian thing. So hockey is huge in Canada. What is there something specific about it that makes that a huge Canadian tradition? And is there a time that it is more prevalent within Canadian culture, like football? Football's huge in America anyway, but on Thanksgiving and Christmas
Right.
specifically, it's the biggest.
Right. No, I mean, hockey in Canada, if I can equate it to baseball in the States, whereas every kid from the age of like 5 plays hockey. And, there's like the equivalent to Little League. We have hockey the whole way through. So it's kind of like a tradition in Canada to play hockey. And then obviously Saturday night with Hockey Night in Canada is a big thing as far as, honestly, without making jokes about family and tradition. Sitting down around the television and watching Hockey Night in Canada is a big thing. And I'd say Hockey Night in Canada is the equivalent to your guys' Monday Night Football, where it's like it's a franchise by itself. And we do that to the point where I was home last weekend and I sat with my 94-year-old grandmother and watched Hockey Night in Canada. It's the first time we've watched a hockey game together in years because I moved away almost 20 years ago now. So we sat down together and watched a game, which was awesome. It's something I'm going to remember. But yeah, hockey's a big thing. And Canada basically closes for the Stanley Cup playoffs as long as there's Canadian teams involved. And even if there isn't, we'll still watch, but it's obviously bigger when there's Canadian teams in the playoffs because last year there were no Canadian teams in the playoffs. It was terrible. But yeah, no. So from the middle of April until like basically the 1st of June, every night on television in Canada is hockey. So it's a big thing here.
I'll say that's absolutely huge.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And Rogers, the phone company, bought the exclusive rights to broadcasting in Canada. So they own everything when it comes to the NHL season and broadcasting rights. So if you're a Canadian, you can watch hockey almost every night of the week because it's always available on television.
That sounds like a great business idea, for that company.
It does, right? I mean, I have my cell phone through Rogers, and as part of that, they gave me NHL Center Ice for free, so I can watch literally any game on my phone, which they want you to do by using their cell data so that you'll go over your limit and have to pay way more for it. But I'm like, screw that. I'll just watch it on Wi-Fi. But yeah, I have access to every NHL game on my phone, which again, trying to explain that to my 94-year-old grandmother was awesome. Yeah, I can use my phone to watch any hockey game I want. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, watch this. So I opened up my phone and popped on a game. I forget what game it was, but I just popped something on. I think it was Detroit and Anaheim or something that, 2 U.S. markets where she'd never ever watched the game. And she goes, that's happening right now. I'm like, that is happening right now. She goes, and you're watching it on your phone. I'm like, I'm watching it on my phone. And she's just like mind blown, right? Which was awesome. But yeah, so I'd say your football is our hockey.
Hockey's not going on during your Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
But you guys choose football anyway? Like you're that dedicated to stealing from us?
Yeah. Well, honestly, a lot of it is there's only like 2 games on Thanksgiving, and it's random games. Like you'll get Pittsburgh Columbus or something, or San Jose. San Jose.
San Jose playing against themselves because nobody wants to play with them.
Yeah. Exactly. But no, like we don't have like you'd think that we'd get a rivalry game like Toronto Montreal, or we would get Ottawa Toronto, or Calgary Edmonton, like a big Thanksgiving game, but that doesn't happen.
Interesting. You should write a letter to the NHL about that and get them to actually capitalize on this huge market.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, but
okay, let's think about it this way instead.
The commissioner of the NHL is American, so I don't know how far it's going to go.
Well, I mean, if you pitch it in numbers, then he's a businusman. He's going to take you up on that. But the benefit for you is that you're helping out all Canadians to appreciate the you guys' sport on the day that we typically appreciate sports on.
Right. I could see that. I could become Canada's champion.
You would have your own float.
My own float. Holy shit, sign me up. Let's do that. And I'll have that ready for next U.S. Thanksgiving.
And here comes the Langille float flying high right behind Snoopy. He did something with hockey. I don't know, but
Peter Puck. It's going to be great.
Right behind Peter Puck. That is a damn good float.
Nice. I'll work on that. And I'll get a little red wagon. I'll get Chris to pull me around the table. It'll be awesome.
Oh man. Okay, so it has been absolutely fantastic having you on, Langille, sharing your expertise of Canada and you guys' own traditions. Definitely appreciate the fact that you were willing to come on our little show here and give us your insight.
No problem at all. I enjoyed it. And you know what? I want to extend the offer. I'd like to bring you guys on What's the Finish. We'll have to schedule a time. We'll get you guys on What's the Finish. And I have to apologize ahead of time for the rock star Chris Cole, but we will have a lot of fun. So we'll have you guys on our show as well.
Sounds great.
That sounds absolutely fantastic and truly appreciated, Langille.
No problem at all, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it. And you have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, you as well.
Thanks.
Peace. Love the show? Give us a rating on iTunes. Really like us? Well, guess what? We have Patreon. And Patreon, you can donate directly to us with money. This will really help to support the hosting costs and all the other kind of stuff. Also, we're on Facebook at www.facebook.com/We Need to Talk Show. And Twitter, WTD1. And yeah, that's the best you can talk to us. And yeah, we need to talk.